Hi, I'm Kamali, taking you through some of the things people are talking about and some of the stuff they're sharing around the world on NewsFeed today.
I don't think that you should live in India.
No ball called on India's cricket captain after this video. Phones filming a terror attack in Melbourne, Australia. We look at why some people think the murder of Jamal Khashoggi got so much coverage. And dogs jumping into leaves. A Friday feeling, animals doing stuff. On top of our newsfeed, Virat Kohli, India's cricket captain and social media star, said something in a Twitter video that's caused a bit of a backlash. And he's proved that he doesn't respond well if someone says they don't like him. Take a look at this.
I don't think that you should live in India. Overrated batsman, I personally have seen nothing special in his batting. I enjoy watching English and Australian batsmen more than these Indian. Okay. I don't think that you should live in India, then you should go and live somewhere else. No, why are you living in our country and loving other countries? But I don't mind you not liking me, but I don't think you should live in our country and like other things. So get your priorities right.
Virat Kohli, captain, right-hand middle-order batsman, right-arm quick bowler, and my favorite cricketer is Herschel Gibbs.
Okay, let's have a look at some other things that caught our eye on social media. People have been out in some cities in the US under the hashtag #ProtectMueller. There is genuine concern there that the firing of the US's top lawyer, Jeff Sessions, by Donald Trump could be the prelude to President Trump's attempts to stop Special Counsel Robert Mueller's investigation into Russian interference in the 2016 election. The new acting Attorney General, Matthew Whitaker, has made no secret of the fact he thinks the Mueller investigation is a witch hunt and does not want it to look too closely at the president and his family. The woman with the world's most famous shoe collection, Imelda Marcos, has been found guilty of corruption. The wife of the former dictator of the Philippines is now 89 and has been charged with alleged dodgy deals with a Swiss NGO back in the 70s and 80s. There is now an arrest warrant out for her. She's currently a member of the Philippines House of Representatives. Now, at its height, her shoe collection was over 1,000 pairs strong. Finally, a bit of edge to BTS. The biggest band on the planet have been dropped from the biggest show on Japanese TV because of this. Jimin wore this shirt on the anniversary of Korea's liberation from Japan. It seems to be celebrating the atomic bomb being dropped on Hiroshima. Now, the picture went viral a couple of days back, and now the band are not welcome on Japanese TV. Never let your clothes speak words you wouldn't say, Jimin. There's been a terror attack in Melbourne, Australia. 2 people are dead, including the attacker. 2 people have been injured. Now, we were able to see how the end of the attack played out because so many people started filming on their phones. Before the traditional news organisations had their choppers in the air and their cameras on the ground, Twitter videos were going viral. And to reinforce just how much social media is vital in these kinds of incidents, the local police have asked people to upload their footage to the police Facebook page.
Police are calling for anybody who witnessed this event to please attend at the Melbourne West Police Station, where they can provide a witness account of what occurred. They can also upload on our Facebook link any videos or photographs of what they saw occur. So I'll just repeat that. If you've got any vision, video or photographs, please upload it on the Victoria Police Facebook site.
Well, this is how the attack played out from the social video we've seen.
There's someone with a knife.
Oh my gosh. Now, the murder of Jamal Khashoggi continues to consume media around the world, but some people have been wondering why it seems to become so important to certain news outlets.
For the past month, the media has focused heavily on the killing of Saudi journalist Jamal Khashoggi.
This is a level of attention which I can't remember any other story bringing to bear.
The coverage of Khashoggi's killing has been like a prism, and it has shown the nature and power of the media industry. So what gets media attention and why? The incident inside the Saudi consulate carried out by its officials put the Saudi government under scrutiny. But the question lingering in the minds of many people is, why didn't the thousands killed in Yemen as a result of Saudi-led attacks trigger the same backlash?
The killings and the bombardments in Yemen, something that's happening far from the Western capitals, and it's some sort of an ignorable news story for American journalists and also European journalists.
The reason that you see the outrage in the United States over Khashoggi's murder is because of his proximity to the Washington, D.C. elite. Particularly the free press.
His connection to the Washington Post, I think, made it a very, very, very important story for that newspaper. And I think a lot of publications and news outlets, somewhat out of solidarity, not necessarily consciously, but out of solidarity, they, wrote about this story and made a big deal out of it.
If Khashoggi was a columnist for TRT World or Al Jazeera or the Saudi Gazette, we wouldn't be seeing the same level of hysteria or outrage in the United States as we're seeing today.
Also talks about the detail that, Trump administration versus American journalists, Trump saying that media is the enemy of the people, and killing of a journalist at the Saudi consulate in connection with a person who's actually having a very good ties with the Trump administration. Put this matter in the headlines in the United States, and as you know, United States media is leading all around the world in terms of the news coverage.
But has the killing changed the narrative around Saudi Arabia, and in particular the Crown Prince?
He was praised as a reformer in the New York Times. Thomas Friedman wrote a glowing op-ed about him, a sentiment which was shared across the Washington Post, the Boston Globe, and any number of US media outlets. This happens because Saudi Arabia is so influential in US politics. It funds universities in the United States, it funds think tanks, and it also funds a number of columnists and journalists.
You can spend a lot of money, you can lobby government officials, you can lobby media, but the fact of the matter doesn't change, so it wouldn't convince people at the end of the day.
You're seeing now that narrative is shifting.
Did pressure from the media impact the Saudi narrative of Khashoggi's death?
It was actually MBS who started this whole thing. He, in an interview with Bloomberg a few days after this whole thing happened, he went on the air. He had the gall to go on the air and say that, we don't know what happened to Jamal Khashoggi. Ask the Turks. And, the Turks really gave it to him over the course of the next few weeks. They, leaked out information that just, completely destroyed Saudi credibility on this and other matters.
Now that the Washington D.C. power elite, which has supported the rise of MBS and supported his future rule, are now seeing him somebody who's reckless, and will not act in the interests of US national interests.
How can you ever trust a Saudi official when they lied so blatantly, repeatedly, kind of keep telling stories and then going back on them and then going back on those stories? You know, the Saudi media strategy is obviously to try to wait this whole thing out and to delay, obfuscate, and so on until they think it'll blow over, or the Turkish authorities will accept some kind of concession to let it blow over.
Will Turkey continue pressuring Saudi Arabia on this?
If President Recep Tayyip Erdogan himself wanted to sweep this matter under the rug, he could at this point, because you have his own base demanding answers for its own reasons, seeing Jamal Khashoggi as a fellow traveler. You have the, liberal, secular opposition to Erdogan demanding answers because they see this guy as a, journalist who was killed for freedom of expression. They see that as an important value. And you have the nationalists who are sometimes with Erdogan, sometimes not, also demanding answers because they see this killing as a violation of Turkish sovereignty. So every single Turkish political tribe wants to get to the bottom of it. Could Erdogan ignore them and make some kind of deal with the Saudis? I don't think Turkey works like that.
Okay, a quick spin around the world now for some other stories you need to know this Friday.
My son was in Las Vegas with a lot of his friends and he came home. He didn't come home last night, and I don't want prayers. I don't want thoughts. I want gun control, and I hope to God nobody else sends me any more prayers. I want gun control. No more guns.
Now, that woman's son survived the mass shooting in Las Vegas from last year, but was killed in the Thousand Oaks shooting yesterday. She's made an emotional demand for gun control in the United States. Lucy McBath's son was shot and killed in 2012. She then started campaigning for gun control. Now she's just won a seat in the House of Representatives for Georgia's 6th district. Her son was shot by a white man at a petrol station because he'd refused to turn his music down. Another welcome surprise from the midterm elections. All of these women have been elected as judges in Harris County, Texas. There's 19 of them, and they campaigned under the slogan, Black Girl Magic. Now, the judiciary in the US has a massive race problem. Black people are vastly overrepresented in the criminal justice system and often have their liberty decided by white judges. One of those elected, Erica Hughes, wrote on Facebook that we want to turn the Harris County upside down in terms of the criminal justice system. Google have had to make some major changes to their sexual harassment policies. Staff walked out of their offices last week after a story appeared that said Google had paid a guy millions and millions of dollars when he quit, even though he'd been found to have harassed one of his colleagues, an allegation that he denied. Google's new policies will, among other things, improve the investigation process into sexual harassment and share data on harassment claims. Now here's one for you. Why did the salmon swim across the road? Give up? Because the river was flooded. This happens every year in a few places in North America. This one was filmed in Washington State in the northwestern United States. And it is that time of year in the Northern Hemisphere. Winter is coming, the nights are closing in, and the leaves are beginning to fall. And those piles and piles of leaves have become a bit of an internet thing, thanks to some four-legged jokers. Well, they seem to be having a good time. I might try that myself. That's all from the NewsFeed team. Reach out to me with your questions, comments, complaints, and suggestions. I'm at Kamali Melbourne. You'll find us 24/7 on Twitter, YouTube, and Facebook. Follow, subscribe, and add. Have a good weekend. See you again soon.